When you're stressed, you can't even see but short term. You're short-sighted. When you're short-sighted, all you're doing is you're living in the moment, but not in the way like some Buddhist Zen monk would say, like, oh, be present in the moment. No, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to pay the bills. Oh, I don't have time to work out. I got to do this. Oh, my business, my client put out the dumpster fires. Oh my gosh, the numbers.
Welcome to the Legendary Life Podcast, where it's all about taking control of your health, losing fat, transforming your body, and living the life you deserve with celebrity fitness trainer and longevity enthusiast, Ted Rice. When I first started training clients, I noticed that about half of my clients got great results and the other half really struggled. And when I first started I took that personally. I was like, man, because I thought it was me. I thought, there's something wrong with what I'm doing, or maybe it's just them. They're not doing things right. And after years of training clients, I ended up realizing that the diet and workout are really important. But if someone isn't managing their stress and sleeping enough, they're going to sabotage their progress. And I want to ask you right now, on a scale 1 to 10, what's your stress level on average on any given week, on any given day? And how good is your sleep on a scale 1 to 10 on any given day? I know the answer to both of those because I use an Oura ring. Now look, last night I got 77, so a 7.7 out of 10 is what I got for last night. Had a little trouble sleeping. And even though I focus on this stuff, I still struggle with it. So if you're struggling with stress or struggling with sleep, today's episode, you're going to want to listen to. What is up, my friend? And welcome back to the Legendary Life Podcast. I'm your host, Ted Rice, coach to executives, entrepreneurs, and other high achievers. I help entrepreneurs and executives and other busy professionals lose fat and transform their bodies while enjoying their lifestyle and thriving in their business. It's my goal here to show you that health adds to your business. It adds to your sustainability because you're going to spend less time dealing with health problems, less time sick. Well, I never get sick, Ted. Well, it's a matter of time, not a matter of when, not if. And I want to help you with that. I laugh, but I want you to not deal with that. I want the best for you. And I laugh sometimes because I've made a lot of these mistakes. So if I ever sound like I'm talking down to you, I'm really, it might come across that way sometimes. I hope not, but I want to tell you, I've made so many dumb mistakes. Now, in my defense, were they really dumb mistakes? If you know my history, I've been through a lot in my life. I've had family members murdered, one family member committed suicide. I don't have any immediate family anymore. My mother, father, and stepmother are all deceased. And so I've dealt with a lot. And when I first started dealing with my issues, I used excessive exercise, excessive drinking, excessive marijuana smoking to deal with it. But now I don't do those things. I might have a glass of wine. I might smoke a little weed or have an edible, nothing too strong. Don't want my soul to disappear down a black hole. Some of those edibles, if you know what I'm talking about, had some bad experiences. But I do those things, but I'm not what I used to do is if something bad happened, I'd want to get stoned or I'd want to have a drink or I'd go to Brazilian jiu-jitsu and work out all my frustration. And then I realized, man, you know what? This isn't helping. I'm drinking too much. I'm smoking too much weed, or I'm using exercise to get my frustration out, and I have a lot of injuries because of it. Yeah, sure, am I mentally tough? Am I pushing through things? But eventually you realize this is not a sustainable model. My knee hurts, my back hurts, my shoulder hurts, right? Everything hurts. And that's who I want to talk to today, because the reality is those negative things that happen in our life can be summed up in one word: stress. Probably not news to you, but there's another thing that I want to talk about, and something that I'm struggling with some stress right now. I'm struggling with, on a more personal level, some things in my relationships, which is probably the weakest area right now. I'm strong in my health, strong in my business, and the relationships part, I want to work on that. And although my my last relationship, I feel was the healthiest relationship. It wasn't really, I need to be a better person than I was in my last relationship. And I'm kind of dealing with that right now. So that's kind of a positive thing. And another thing is my business is going well right now. But guess what? It can become very stressful if I don't pace myself. You can get into that burnout mode. So even positive things can become stressful. And just some quick facts here to talk about stress. According to the American Institute of Stress, about 33% of people report feeling extreme stress. 77% people experience stress that affects their physical health. 73% of people have stress that impacts their mental health. 43% of people have trouble sleeping because of stress. So unfortunately, for about half of all Americans, levels of stress are getting worse instead of better. And what do we do when we're stressed? Well, I already talked about what some of the things I do, but I want to talk about stress eating, which is something I've done too. I just don't mention it enough. And people don't think that I am a stress eater because I'm lean, but I have to use a lot of tactics to stay lean when I'm going through a stressful period. But people stress eat. People binge watch Netflix or Apple TV or Disney Plus. I've got all of them too. Amazon Prime. I've got Hulu. Anybody else a fan of Future Man out there? Drinking alcohol. You're stressed. You have a drink. Boom. Within minutes, your state changes. Shopping. Who can relate to that? Oh man, I had so many pairs of jeans, $200 or even $300 pair of jeans, half of which I didn't even wear, but I just bought it. And then I complained about not having money for, to invest in my business, to hire a business coach. That was me in my 20s and early 30s, actually, more in the early 30s. So porn's another one. Spent way too much time watching that in my 20s. So anything that takes us away from, that shifts our emotional state or helps us cope with reality, we can use that to deal with stress. And some of them are healthy, right? Like going for a walk in nature, going and getting a massage. Those are good things. Those are the things I do now. I'm like, oh man, I'm stressed. I'll go, actually what I'm doing mostly is I hit a float tank. I go to a float tank spa and go do a float. I might even do one today. And then there's the things that are unhealthy, the stress eating, the binge watching Netflix when you know you got to do something where like it's not really helping you. And look, I'm not saying that you can't binge watch series. That's how I enjoy watching. Like I'll binge some series, and I have even recently. But I'm aware of my behavior and realize, okay, I need to shut this down. Right? Drinking alcohol, I rarely do that anymore. And shopping. Mostly, and now that I'm a digital nomad, I can't really shop too much because I'm living out of 2 suitcases and a backpack. But any of those things, right? And when I'm thinking about some of the clients who I've helped with this, Jimmy comes up. Now, he's a CEO who just sold his company for almost $25 million. And he told me, he's like, man, I thought once I sell my company, I'm going to be the happiest man on earth. And he said, I'm actually really unhappy right now. Now, it's not because he sold his company that he's unhappy. It's because of the stress in his life that he's unhappy. And what's interesting is he had this story in his head and it kept him working for decades. That when I sell my company, that's going to be it. That's going to be the moment. But for far too many people, they end up like Jimmy. They sell the company, they get millions of dollars in an exit, and they're still not happy. Can you relate to that? And here's the thing, right? When we're stressed, do you want to exercise and eat right? Now, some people over-exercise when they're stressed. That was me. But a lot of the clients that I deal with, they don't exercise or exercise less. And do they eat right? No. They're at the steakhouse eating the biggest ribeye steak they can find and washing it down with some Petrus 2003, right? Or whatever you're into. So stress makes us lose our motivation. In fact, I had an exchange with someone on Twitter recently. They're like, I have no discipline. I have no motivation. What do you do when you're in that situation? I said, well, I don't believe in that exactly. Like no motivation. I don't believe in that. We're all motivated to do something. We're all motivated to Like if you're not, you think that you have no motivation to exercise. You think it's an absence of a habit, but in reality, you have a habit. What are your habits to deal with the stress in your life? And I asked that person, I mean, that's what I was thinking. I didn't communicate that because I thought it would be too complex over tweets. But what I did ask the person, I'm like, what is your stress level right now? Because when I hear someone say what you're saying, I immediately want to know what's the stress in your life like? Scale on a 1 to 10. What did they say? First of all, they were like, oh, they kind of ignored me, right? It ignored what I said. They didn't ignore me. They got back to me, but they ignored what I said about stress, even though they said, well, actually, it's an 11 out of 10 right now. And I'm like, you just answered your question. It's an 11 out of 10. Oh my gosh. Well, I want you to think about this. You listening right now. What would it take for you to say you're at 11 out of 10 when it comes to stress? Oh my gosh. I feel for that person. I've been there. I mean, when my brother was kidnapped and it went missing, I was at 11 out of 10. When, my sister committed suicide, I was 11 out of 10. When I got injured, my back got injured and I couldn't sleep at night because the pain was so bad. I was 11 out of 10. So I don't know what they're dealing with, but 11 out of 10, man, horrible. And even if it isn't as extreme as the things that I mentioned, if you perceive that your stress levels are at an 11 out of 10, and I'm assuming that person was serious about it, especially because they weren't making a lot of drama about it. They were kind of like, well, it's 11 out of 10, but I really think it's this discipline issue, this motivation issue. I was like, no, you got to lower your stress. There's a reason that people, when they make a lot of money, they want to focus on their health, right? Because money lowers stress. And then you're like, okay, cool. I can afford to do things. I can afford to pay people to do things so I can have more time. What do I need? Oh my gosh, I'm out of shape. Look at myself in the mirror. My belly is big. Oh, I just got some blood results back. My cholesterol's high. My blood sugar's pre-diabetic. I need to freaking do something. And those are the people who I really like working with because the motivation is high and they have room. They've got they know, oh, this is super important. They're no longer in the got to pay the bills, got to grow my business. Now they're thinking about, okay, I have the money and I don't have the health. I need to change this fast because then when you're stressed, you can't even see but short term. You're short-sighted. When you're short-sighted, all you're doing is you're living in the moment. But not in the way like some Buddhist Zen monk would say, like, oh, be present in the moment. No, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to pay the bills. Oh, I don't have time to work out. I got to do this. Oh, my business, my client put out the dumpster fires. Oh my gosh, the numbers. I've worked with CEOs, with auditors, with accounting firm partners, with attorneys, with serial entrepreneurs, so many high performers. And when they're in that moment, it is just about dealing with immediate reality. And that's what stress does. And the stress feelings that we have, it allows us to focus on those problems and solve them. But the reality is this, our stress system, it's designed to help us survive in a very hostile environment where it's literally life or death. But let's be honest, if you don't put out the quote unquote dumpster fire in your business, is someone going to die? Is your business going to go under? No, of course not. But we feel like it is, so we act like it. And then 30 pounds later, pre-diabetic blood sugar levels later, then we realize, oh shit, I've been so focused on this. And now I have this new dumpster fire called a diabetes diagnosis or my first heart attack, or I'm 300 pounds. I talked to someone the other day, they were 300 pounds, just got diagnosed with diabetes. He was supposed to do a second call with me. I hope he comes back, but he disappeared because of stress. And the thing is, don't let your health become that new dumpster fire that you have to put out. Because, whoa, if you put out a dumpster fire in your business, things in business happen. I have a very different business than most of my clients, but things in business happen, but you don't lose your ass most of the time, right? It's not your business that's on the line. It's maybe a client on the line or whatever. Maybe you'll make a little bit less money or something like that, or maybe even a lot less money, but with your health, you can never go backwards. You think that you can, and certainly I don't want to dissuade you here, right? I'm not saying that you can't lose weight and improve yourself, but once you hit your first heart attack, once you hit that diabetes diagnosis, you can put diabetes in remission, and certainly you can extend your life after you've had a heart attack. But whoa, you could have prevented that. And now, like, this is going to be your new life, especially with could be with heart attack too. You got stents, you're taking medication. With diabetes, you're taking insulin, you're managing your blood sugar. Fuck. Now you got a new job. You know what I mean? And you can prevent it. Heart disease is preventable for the majority of us. Diabetes is 100% preventable. You lose fat. That's how you do it. So one of the things that I've done with my clients is I've tried to do a better job at educating people, my clients, about stress, and educating you about it too. And one of the things that I've done and that I challenge my clients to do is add stress relieving activities every week. Oh, I don't have the time to do that. Now you need to do too. There's a great saying for meditation. It's like, I don't have the time. I forget I'm totally going to butcher this, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. But it's like, I don't have the time to meditate once every day. And it's like, that means you need to meditate twice every day. You got to love the Buddhists with how they flip things around on you. And I do believe it's true. It's like, if that's your mindset, you're too stressed, focusing on the immediate threats instead of understanding those immediate threats aren't as threatening in reality. And also, if you keep pushing this off, there's a cost to doing it. And it's not a price you're going to want to pay. Let me tell you, there's not one person who I've ever talked to who said, you know what, I had my first heart attack growing my business, but you know what, it was worth it. Not one. Or diabetes, was it worth it? Yeah, I just ate and got big and got diabetes. And it's because I was growing my business and we're working really hard trying to save money. It was totally worth it. No, especially if they have children. Now their children are struggling emotionally because they're watching their parents, you struggle with your health. They might pick up some of your bad habits and end up in the same place when they're in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. There's not one person who's ever said it was worth it. And so how do you deal with stress then? Well, first of all, you need to develop an awareness about it. And that's why I asked you, what's your stress level on a scale 1 to 10? How well are you sleeping on a scale 1 to 10? And I want to tell you what I did with my client, Jimmy, that CEO. What we did was he was struggling, and see if this sounds familiar. He was struggling during the day with stress in working in his business, because even though he sold it, part of the requirement was he was going to continue to work in his business, in the business, to help with the transition with the leadership, the executives. And so he was stressed during that time, during the day, and then he would come home at night. Imagine this, or maybe this is your life. You're so stressed during the day and you're on and you're making it happen and you're solving the problems and putting out the fires. And then you get home, you're like, there's no stimulation. In a way, it feels good, but in another way, you start to get a little bored. You're like, oh, where's the stimulation? You feel this vacuum, this absence of all the excitement and stress during the day. And so what do? You turn on the TV and start eating. Maybe have a couple beers or a few glasses of wine. And so the next step of awareness is understanding how what's going on. What are the triggers? What is your stress level? What is your sleep? Because sleep and stress are intimately connected. And then what are your triggers here exactly? Are you like Jimmy, where you're on for 6 to 8 hours a day or however many hours you're working, then you come home and then you're off? And it's nice in a way, but then you start getting bored. And so what we had to do, and I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. And Jimmy told me, he's like, listen, don't tell me to eat carrot sticks and go for a run instead of watching TV and eating junk, because I'm not going to do it. And I said, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I want you to tell me what you're going to do. What could you do? And he had some challenges here. I said, we need to get you doing something exciting, and we need to get you doing something relaxing, because you can't just do something exciting. It can be too much. You need something to bring the stress low as well. And he couldn't do massages because he's super ticklish, right? I can't even imagine. I get massages every week. I can't even imagine what that must be like, not being able to get a massage. It's like, I don't know if he's ever had a Thai massage. I should probably ask him, because there's nothing ticklish about those elbows and stepping on you. But what we settled on, what he ended up finding was, like me, the flotation sessions really helped him. And as far as something exciting, he ended up doing pickleball. Initially, we had him doing Muay Thai, so Thai boxing, Thai kickboxing from Thailand. And I was like, well, what do you think? And he was like, it's not really, he kept doing it for a while, but there was something about it that just didn't seem right. And what he eventually realized was it was pickleball. Now, I still haven't seen a video on pickleball, but I need to, in fact, I'm going to do it as soon as I stop recording. I'm going to Google it on YouTube. I need to see what this pickleball looks like. So he has a sport, pickleball, which he enjoys. And there's a social component to it. So he's doing float sessions to help him manage his stress, get grounded, relax his body, help him recover from the pickleball and from the workouts that we're doing together. And now he has his excitement as well. He's doing pickleball. So he's playing pickleball, but he's also doing pickleball lessons. And he got rid of the Muay Thai. And that's the thing here. Sometimes it takes some experimentation to find the right methods for you to use. Like for me, I've had to change my methods based on where I am in the world. And also my body doesn't like the martial arts as much anymore. So I've been experimenting with things. I'm in Brazil right now. I was driving go-karts, the 70 mile per hour professional go-karts. I was doing that for a while. It was cool. I wasn't getting quite the payoff that I get from doing other things. So I kind of did it a few times and haven't done it again, but I'm experimenting, and it's okay to experiment, and it's okay if you don't end up liking something. What you're looking for is that perfect connection. Like, I am really into the float tanks right now. I like them better than massages. I get such a positive benefit from floating, more so than massage sometimes. I still need the massage because nothing's like getting in there and working out the knots in your muscles. Very important, especially if you're training a lot. And like I am, I'm training a lot. My body's completely transformed. I'm getting jacked again, baby. Veins on my abs. Not quite, but they're coming. So you've got to experiment a little bit. And this is what I have my clients do, my one-on-one clients as well as my group clients. But I want to come back to Jimmy. What are the results since we started implementing this? Well, guess what? He's lost almost 15 pounds. He's showing up to the calls. He's more at ease, grounded, ready to accomplish more. He's starting to make better choices with nutrition, because when your stress is too high, you can try to deal with your nutrition, but in reality, you're just going to stress eat. It's not something you have conscious control over. No, I just need more discipline. How's that? And then why do you have a belly for the past 5 years? If you just need more discipline, give me a freaking break. Stop with that nonsense talk. This is about dealing with your challenges in a way that gets results. And if you're not getting results, you're not doing the right thing, period. Be results oriented. That is really the tough thing, not the tough talk and the nonsense. That's just nonsense. Results are what matter here. And if you're doing the right things, you will get results. If not right away, eventually. So stay focused on that. Now let's talk about sleep. Almost half of Americans say they feel sleepy during the day, between 3 to 7 days per week. And it's believed that between 30 to 48% of older adults suffer from insomnia, and about 10 to 30% of adults struggle with chronic insomnia. There's even famous entrepreneurs suffering from chronic sleep deprivation. Elon Musk has publicly stated that his lack of sleep has harmed his physical and mental health. And Ariana Huffington left the company she founded after a lack of sleep took its toll and led to a physical injury. So what do we do when we're sleep deprived? Well, we feel like crap, low energy throughout the day, less creative, can't remember things as well, hard to stay focused on important projects, hard to resist temptation because Your body thinks it's in a crisis mode and you need to eat calories to avoid the crisis, even though the crisis for most of us, it's very abstract, right? It's, in other words, it's not a tiger that's chasing you and you can't sleep that long, or you're running away from your village that was attacked by a neighboring village, right? We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with, well, there's a business project that may not go through the way, or this business deal, this merger. It's these abstract things. So it's psychological stress that keeps us up. And so sacrificing sleep for work is like, and then working more to make up for the lost productivity, it doesn't actually work. I remember a client of mine, Todd, he was drinking 5 coffees a day, or 5 coffees or diet sodas a day. And he was eating all the Friday donuts that got brought in for, the end of the week, because he just couldn't control himself, right? Once you're stressed, you're just making moves. You don't know what you're doing. You're like, maybe I shouldn't have eaten those 3 donuts, but you do it anyway because your brain isn't working properly. And what happened after we created a sleep ritual routine that we put into play for him, he started to wake up feeling energized, said no to Friday donuts, or he fit them in his calories. He made better food choices consistently during the day, had more energy to work out, and he lost 70 pounds in 6 months. He became a different person. And so what I want to tell you here is forget about exercise and nutrition for a second and identify what is stopping you from getting into the best shape of your life, because we say it's age. We come up with so many excuses. Age, it's not your age. It's the fact that as you've gotten older, you've neglected your health. And so you have less energy and you have more stress and you don't sleep well and you have more money. So you end up going out to eat more. And would you like some dessert? What drinks would you like to start with? Right? The waiter, they get you. And you end up overeating, or you overdrink and you postpone your workout, or you don't perform that well. Your workout feels hard, but you're not really making progress. Someone told me something really great recently. It's like, you're never going to make more money by going to work tired. You're never going to make more money by going to work stressed. And in business, you have SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, a SWOT analysis. It's a framework used for developing strategic planning. And threats refer to the factors that have the potential to harm an organization. For example, a drought is a threat to a wheat producing company because it can destroy or reduce a crop yield. But the same thing applies to your health and fitness. High levels of stress and sleep deprivation is a threat. It can destroy your health. It reduces productivity and performance. And it can also sabotage any chance of succeeding with a long-term plan for your health and fitness. So in other words, forget about the trendy diets, the time-consuming workouts, expensive supplements. Instead, identify your weaknesses and your threats and work on them to create a healthy lifestyle that you can maintain for the rest of your life and not just the next 60 or 90 days. I always tell my clients, if you want your business to thrive for the next 5 to 10 years, you get mentors and you invest your time and effort until you get the results you want. But why don't you do the same for your health? Why don't you commit and invest in your health the same way so you can thrive in business and life for the next 5 to 10 years? Because your health is the foundation for your success in those areas. And that's what I'm all about. That's my mission, to help you reclaim your health, to help you create a lean, energetic body and live that legendary life. It's not enough anymore to just make money and thrive in business and to have, to have a $100,000 car, but a junker lifestyle, right? Or treat your car like it's this amazing piece of machinery and you take it to the best place and care for it. But the only thing you do for your body, or how you treat your body, if you have too much fat, if you're not sleeping well, it's like your priorities are a little bit mixed up. So that's what I would tell you. And if you know that and you want some help with that, what I would tell you is this. I specialize in working with entrepreneurs, executives, and other busy professionals. I don't have time to exercise. I can get you on a 10-minute workout a few times a week that will give you better results than doing nothing. I promise you that. Well, I don't have time for the nutrition thing. Do you eat meals? Then you have time to make different choices at meals with the proper instruction. And the best thing is, man, once you start dialing in your health, it isn't about like, well, health is health important? Yes, health is important. Let's talk about it very abstractly. No, this has real world, immediate consequences. All my clients feel better in the first week. They're always like, oh man, why did I sign up for this coaching thing? Did I just do something stupid? And then 10 days later, they're like, oh my gosh, I have so much more energy. I feel a difference already. What do I do next, Ted? It's amazing to see. It's why I'm so passionate. I could do other things, folks. I could do other things for money, but coaching, it lights me up to see the change. I could sell products. I don't do it because coaching is just, I don't know. It's amazing. And also I have coaches. So if that's you, if you're looking for the only real shortcut is getting a mentor. And if you're looking for that and you're a high performer, if you're someone who's done well financially, and your relationships are going well, but you know your health is the thing that is your weak point. It's in that SWOT analysis. You look at your life and you're saying, wow, my relationships are pretty solid. My business is pretty solid, but it's my health that is my weak link here. And you want to do something about it. Let's hop on a 15-minute call. Go to legendarylifepodcast.com/apply. We'll hop on a 15-minute call. No, it's not a sales call. It's a way for us to feel each other out, to see what the challenges you're having, what your goals are, and to map out a plan to help achieve them and to see like if I'm the right person for you and if you're the right person for me, because the truth is not everybody is the right person. In fact, the vast majority of people probably can't even afford me, and that's okay. I work with high performers for a reason, people who are comfortable investing in themselves when they see the value in exchange for the investment. And the reason is the results that I get, try to find someone better. I challenge you. You can find people who have better marketing for sure, but I've been in this game for 23 years. I'm at the top of my game. I'm also, I can't say in the best shape of my life. I'm like, I feel pretty damn good and I'm almost back to veins on my abs lean. And I do this while running a business and improving my relationships, even though for me and my relationships, like I shared with you earlier, is the weak point for me. And guess what? I'm going to hire a coach to help me with that. I'm not going to try to figure it out on my own. That's for damn sure. I don't have that type of time. I'm 45 years old. I don't have time to have 10 more years to trial and error it. Hell no. What do I need who's the best person to hire? Let's get this done in a few months. What do I need to work on as a person to become a better partner? Hell yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So listen, if that resonates with you, again, legendarylifepodcast.com/apply. And we'll talk for 15 minutes and we'll go from there. And for those of you who are listening, I want to ask you, what is one thing that you can take away from today and apply into your life? Is it getting awareness about your stress levels? And maybe that awareness is now you know, like, oh gosh, I'm at 11 out of 10, like that person on Twitter. And my sleep is not great either. And, or maybe it's your triggers. Oh, when this happens, I do this other thing. When I have a long day at work, I end up having a couple glasses of wine to cool off. And then I end up eating too much and then waking up not feeling great. So I skip my workout, etc. Or maybe it's that experimentation process with figuring out one exciting thing to do every week and one relaxing thing to do every week. Which one is it? I'd love to hear from you. If you're on Twitter, let me know. Hit me up at Ted_Rice. So TED_RYCE on Twitter and let me know what resonated with you. What are you going to do? Let's keep the conversation going there. Have a great one and speak to you soon. And on Monday, I'm going to talk about the surprising link between marital satisfaction and weight gain. I don't know about you, but when you hear people getting married and gaining weight, and by the way, that kind of happened to me when I got married, you think, oh, you know what? Those people are unhappy. They're not doing well. They're eating their feelings. And the reality is that the evidence shows the opposite. So this study that I'm going to be talking about is going to get into this idea of how satisfied we are with marriage and our weight. And if you want to find out more about this, if you want to hear about this, because maybe it's happened to you and you've wondered about this, you're going to want to tune in on Monday. So have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you then.
Thank you again for listening to the Legendary Life podcast. We have some amazing episodes coming your way, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed and today's episode hit home for you, please share this episode with someone who you know would benefit from listening. Take care and see you every Monday and Friday in your favorite podcast app.